This is a Mike Lee News Update. Tuesday, February 26, 2019. As you can see, he is a man literally on the move. With only hours to go before the Trump-Kim summit in Vietnam on nuclear weapons, I've caught up with Chun, former Lieutenant General in the South Korean Army. General Chung has experience in facing down the North Koreans along the 38th parallel. He is now a political and military analyst. We joined General Chung in South Korea, where it's almost midnight on the eve of the summit. Thanks for joining us on this very important moment. We're only hours away from the summit in Hanoi. Let me ask you first, how would you sum up the atmosphere in your country, in South Korea?
I think a good number of people are excited about the summit and hopeful that it will come out to further the peace process on the Korean Peninsula.
What about yourself? Are you optimistic? I mean, you and I have spoken before, and you had quite a few reservations.
Well, I'm hopeful. I'm glad to see that we're having the second summit, which is a good step in the right direction. I'm hopeful that we're going to have some progress in the second summit, but I'm also expecting that we'll have a long way to go in the future.
A lot of people will be following your comments in the next few days, and we hope to stay on top of that. What will you be looking for? What signs in the language, both physical and in formal language, would mean something to you that would represent a step forward in the right direction?
So, for me, the most important thing, of course, is steps towards denuclearization by the North Korean leader. Reports are having the Yongbyon nuclear reactor as one of the things that are on the table. We could also possibly see missile test pads and other facilities, and even maybe a list. So those are the things that I'm looking forward to, and also what other steps by the United States that we are willing to provide as incentives to the North Koreans.
As a military man, you've had experience in facing down the North Koreans over a number of years. How important is that particular reactor as far as you're concerned?
Some critics are saying that the reactor was exploded a decade ago, and it was rebuilt, and they're not putting too much meaning to its destruction if it is destroyed, or they are open to inspection. But for me personally, I think the opening of Yongbyon by inspectors, the closing of Yongbyon, and hopefully the destruction of Yongbyon and the related facilities is a significant step in the right direction.
When we spoke before, you said let's wait and worry about conventional weapons along that DMZ until we get this nuclear weapons situation under control. Is that still your view?
Did I say that?
I thought you did, yes.
Yeah. Well, yes, the conventional situation here, we see outwardly less tensions than before, so that's a good sign. But you have to be vigilant, and I think the military is doing a good job on that respect.
Well, you're in the middle of the apex of the military watching in South Korea and amongst the people who are anticipating this. Do you sense a lot of genuine optimism or some skepticism? How I know I asked you about the mood before, but can you elaborate on that?
I think Korean opinion is divided. There are people who are very optimistic. There are people who are very pessimistic. So it's very difficult to say that the Koreans as an overall what they're thinking. But I think everyone on both sides are hoping that we're going to have a good conclusion where we'll have further steps to have denuclearization of North Korea.
And of course, the long term goal that we've discussed before, that seems to be high on the agenda of people, ordinary people on both sides of the divide, reunification. Do you expect any movement in that area?
All of this that we're seeing right now is movement towards peaceful unification, but I don't see that coming really soon. Uh, Not even maybe during my lifetime, but the 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 process that we're going through right now is towards unification, which is the ultimate goal of the Korean people.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, and I hope to stay in touch with you as these next few hours and days unfold. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your analysis.
Thank you. Wish us luck.
This has been a Mike Lee News Update.